Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Do Big podcast. According to a recent article in Fortune India, the role of small and medium enterprises in nation building is indisputable. We have close to 63.4 million MSMEs. According to research conducted by Fortune, a low level of digital preparedness was a key reason for the inability of Indian SMEs to be future ready. We have with us today Vishal Rally, Senior Vice President and Head Product Marketing and Commercial, who is going to help us understand what digital readiness should mean for SMEs. But before we jump into the conversation, let's understand a little about Vishal. Vishal, welcome. And instead of doing a stock standard intro of you, which I would have typically done, I thought we'd do a fun rapid fire round.
Good. Works for me.
Works for you? Great. You can only give short answers. Okay. That's the mandate.
I'll try to keep it short.
Okay. So the first question is, what do you love the most about the work you do?
Okay, so I don't think I can keep it to the short bit out here, but maybe a bit about the company first, right? And, why I love being with the company and the organization itself. I don't know if you are aware that Tata Trust actually controls 66% of Tata Sons, which kind of manage the entire Tata Group companies. So whatever we do out here, 66% of that goes back to society. So we do believe what we are doing out here is also going back to society, other than just helping grow our business. Within my domain itself, so I head the product marketing and commercial function. I love dealing with new technologies, working with new partners, looking at new innovations and so on and so forth. But not just for the sake of technology, but how we can use that technology to solve problems of the MSMEs. Do keep in mind that MSMEs may not have the right budget, but they have ambition, they have goals. An idea behind our organization is to democratize technology so that each of the MSMEs can really achieve their final goal that they are looking at. So that's what keeps me motivated, coming to office day after day and helping our customers to do big.
3 words to describe the future of MSMEs in India.
Do big, clearly, coming up. That's the growth engine for India, clearly.
Okay. So growth engine, do big. I need one more word.
One more. Right up, using the best of technology.
Okay. What sport or sports do you play?
Actually, I dabble a lot with many. Okay. On a consistent basis, it's largely indoor, like table tennis or badminton. But I do dabble. So at this age, I started playing squash, thinking I can beat my 18-year-old son in 5 minutes. I figured out, I don't think I can do that. And latest one is I'm trying golf. And, as cricket crazy country as India is, when you play cricket, when you're doing batting, you use a lot of power, right? And a lot of backlift. And it is very counterintuitive while we're playing golf because you need to have a seamless motion. So it's like you learn while doing. So I kind of try and dabble. And try and see what I can succeed with.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Last one. What food do you love?
Okay, the response is going to be one. So again, all kinds, right? So Indian, so I am a Panju. So Rajma Chawal goes right up there, home cooked preferably. Within Indian, always a comfort food of dal khichdi along with the tandoori chicken combination. Okay, so that works for me. Go-to food. If you look at Asian, then it's like a one-pot meal, with the pot rice and veggies. And if you look at European, then lasagna, all-time favorite.
Thank you for that lovely, lovely introduction. I just want to understand, when we think about digital readiness in the context of MSMEs, what should be included?
See, one obviously is you need to know what business you are in and your business goals, right? Your business goals for at least 2 to 3 years. I would talk about a study which was done recently where there are around 30 or little over 30 parameters that got looked at, saying when any business, irrespective of the size, is looking at digitizing or using digital tools for their businesses, typically, what is it that helps them achieve more? And, all of these 30 were kind of put down into broadly 3 blocks. The digital assets and digital tools itself. The second block, digital usage. And the third block as digital manpower. So all the 30 culminating into these three, and they are all interlinked. So it's not that, you can buy the technology from the market, which is the tools and assets. But how are you going to put that to use, which really solves your business problems or help you grow? And if your manpower is not using that technology and tools on an ongoing basis to ensure that all the processes and everything and the experience that you're giving to your customers, that business's customers, is right up there because of using the tools, it fails. So to the answer, essentially, to the question that you asked, one is clearly your business goals right there. And then look into this framework. Yeah, look into right kind of technology, how you're going to put to use, how you're going to ensure your own workforce uses it effectively. And unless there is a tango between all these three, you won't derive the benefits out of any digitization initiative that you have for your business.
Every small and medium enterprise or a micro and small entrepreneur kind of wants to digitize, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that that is the need of the hour. But what are the biggest advantages that you see for entrepreneurs who adopt digital mindset?
Yeah, I think first I would like to make a differentiation or distinction between digitizing and digital mindset. It's very important to understand the difference. See, digitizing is essentially you are enabling BAU with digital tools. So you have business as usual, processes are running, things are running, and so on and so forth. And you are using digital tools, deploying them, or technology that deploying them to maybe make it slightly better. The digital mindset actually is a way of thinking. It's not what you do, but what you think. How you're reinventing your business itself. What are you looking at in terms of your goals? What are new areas that you're looking at? So it's the distinction being how you're using the digital tools for innovation, for making real changes into your business model itself, or entering into completely new business areas. So when you talk about digital mindset, it essentially for the business owner or the organization to really take a few steps back and look at what do you really want to achieve in the long run. The tools part comes later. Whereas digitizing is actually you look at the business as usual and say, where do I need improvement? And I just use one technology to fix it, right? And hence, the digital mindset is something that each business, each MSME business first should look at that aspect and then go the other way around to what you need to digitize and where you want to improve.
So typically what people are doing today is digitizing.
That's right.
Let me fix a problem or let me see how I can enhance something.
Whereas the starting point should be your mindset or digital transformation or business transformation, which will help you in the long run in sustainable growth.
Okay, so if you adopt a digital mindset, it's about sustainable growth.
That's right.
What are the other advantages of adopting a digital mindset? So one is sustainable growth.
Yeah.
What else can you benefit with?
Concept of digital mindset and business transformation really runs together. Like I spoke about, maybe I'll combine the first part and the second part together. See, I spoke about the framework earlier, right? The framework of which digital tools you are using, or rather trying to, adopt itself. First of all, how do you go about even selecting the digital tools? There is plethora of technology already out there and many more getting added, right, on an ongoing basis. And for a SME customer to really keep tab of what are the various technologies coming in is difficult. So our expectations from customers is get your digital transformation or business transformation goals right for sustainable growth. And then you work with a trusted advisor like Tata Tele Business Services to see, how to look at this framework. What are the right tools that you use? Where do you start? Because, in this entire journey, you could go on at various places. And sometimes, some of these initiatives do fail as well, right? Largely failure happens because of, either very lofty goals or execution failures, or actually the transition that your people have to make, again, deriving from the framework. And that's where I think when you have the whole digital mindset journey in place and you've created a goal for yourself and you work with a trusted digital partner, is when your journey will be more meaningful in terms of selecting the right technology, deploying it the right way, and ensuring across the organization and processes and people, you're deriving the true benefits.
A lot of micro and really small entrepreneurs, biggest question that they have is, where do I start?
Yeah.
Shuruaat kahan pe?
Right.
Where do you think they should start? Because there are 4 or 5 questions that they're all struggling with. And therefore, what is your advice about? So I know you said put your goals out there.
Yeah.
That's your first start point.
Yeah.
But is there something that will help them through in the where do I start? So putting goals, I think most of them know where they want their business to go.
Right.
They may not have articulated it, but they
right.
would definitely know where it
Right.
is. I'm just trying to understand, is there something that they can do to make sure that they've started it off right?
Assuming that the business leader or the head of the organization or the leadership team have put their goals together, that this is what they want to get to, how ideally they would like to utilize digital technologies out there to get there. I think what they need, and picking up from my previous input as well, on saying, how do you partner with somebody to realize those goals? And it's important. Every industry that a customer is part of has a different journey out there, right? And we as Tata Tele Business Services work across various industries. So industry matters. The state of your current business matters, right? As a combination. And because we deal with thousands and thousands of customers across, tens of industries, we kind of bring all of that knowledge together. And sometimes it also helps the customers with this knowledge to say, what should I pick up first? Sometimes it could be simply digitizing as well. Obviously, you'll have a digital roadmap in place. So one needs to have a digital roadmap in place, which we work with our customers jointly to put it all together. And then picking up things which will give them the maximum benefits and outcomes in the short term and adds up in the long term as well. And, I would like to quote maybe an example out here, especially the cross-industry learning. It's a very, very, very old example, but I think relevant, though it's a very large enterprises example. But how some processes or some practices in one industry may be just regular, but if you pick that up and deploy in another industry, it could be transformational, completely new. Coming back to the old example, Henry Ford, in his very early years, he went to a slaughterhouse. And, he saw the whole butchering process. And he saw that all the butchers across the very, very long table were stationary. They would do their part of the process, and then the stuff will move on. But they won't move. They'll be right there. And from that experience is when actually Ford Motors put up the world's first assembly line, which is, the car will move, or the car which is in progress, manufacturing will move, but people will be there. Similarly, in digitization, when you look at some practices in some organizations of different sizes and different industries can actually bring that insight. And that's something is very important in terms of who's that trusted digital advisor that are, these customers or SMEs are working with, who bring in these insights, saying where to start. It could be a simple thing which solves a problem, gives better customer experience, some tools that you use and so on and so forth, or it could be transformational, kind of example that I gave.
So one is choosing the right partner, right?
Yeah.
Let's say they chose the right partner and they implemented some stuff.
Yes.
The other question that a lot of them have is, you've come and done your bit. How do I handle the technical aspects or the technological aspects of what you've implemented?
Yeah.
What happens there?
See, again, typically when we look at SMEs, there are constraints that they're living with, right? The capital constraint, the technical knowledge or manpower constraints in terms of their vision and putting things together on how do we kind of grow our business. In terms of managing the technical aspect of it, clearly they look at somebody who's going to handhold them. I'll give an example. It's an actual live study with one of our customers that we have done. Here is one of our SME customers who got a factory in a central location. And they have got 3 or 4 offices which are spread over main cities and so on and so forth. And their main IT systems were where the factory and headquarters is. And across branch locations, if they have to get data and information flowing, they had to connect to this central location. Plus, they don't have technical resources in those 3-4 locations, right? So somehow they're managing things, and different providers for basic technical infrastructure as well. And because the IT infra itself was at central location, there was an issue in terms of single point of failure. So we worked along with this customer, and then we put together the entire transformation plan for them. We took all of these servers onto the cloud. So the redundancy comes in. The experience now is consistent because nobody has to come to one place. They're all going to the cloud.
Correct.
That's part number one. The second part being, each of those locations were handled by different service providers. So, even if they had one central IT manager deal with 4 or 5 providers, we changed all of that, put it all one together on ourselves with redundancy built in each of these locations as well. And we deployed our SD-WAN product, which is a zero-touch provisioning. So there is no IT person required. It happens all remotely. The access and control remains with one central manager. If he wants to give access on certain applications, block some applications, everything centrally by one person. So they have a consistent experience across, managed by one provider end to end in a complete managed services model. So anything goes wrong, we are remotely looking at all of this stuff. Second, in terms of cost as well, they were in the CapEx cycle of buying or upgrading their servers. When we put all of these things on the cloud, it becomes a pure play, pay-as-you-go model, pay-as-you-use model, and pay-as-you-grow model. So it addressed 2 parts of it. One, you don't need technology resources. You put all of this stuff together. We manage it end to end. Second, it's a purely OpEx model. So you save on CapEx as well.
That's really interesting because that kind of answers my next 2 questions, which was how does it impact my, processes, staff, and costs? Because what you're really saying is that if you think it through right, then the chances are that you'll be able to build processes which don't require too much staff or retraining of staff or skilling. And the other is it will definitely result in long-term cost savings. May not be immediate cost savings, but definitely long-term cost savings. So I think that answers some of my questions for you. The other thing that a lot of micro and small entrepreneurs struggle with is also technology itself is becoming redundant or getting replaced and new technologies coming in. And therefore, is the technology good enough for APIs to get built into it? All of that. What happens there? How does one work around those questions?
Yeah, and maybe I will use another example. That's the best way to actually talk about it, right? And I'm sure all of us have seen in offices, maybe a few years back and even now, all the landline phones that are kind of there on each of the desks, right? All of us have mobile phones, but we also have desk phones and so on and so forth running. There are call centers where you see hosts and hosts of people sitting at one place and there's a computer and there are people who hooked up with a headphone and picking up calls and so on and so forth. Do keep in mind, now customers, when they're talking to businesses, they're not using one channel. Voice was the predominant channel. It still is, by the way. But there are multiple other channels, including WhatsApp, including chat, some cases even video, and so on and so forth, SMS, and so on and so forth. Now, as newer channels are coming up, where all do you expect the SMEs to keep investing, right? They have a voice infrastructure, then they built in something to handle SMSs. WhatsApp kind of becomes popular. Now you have interface for WhatsApp and so on and so forth, and it doesn't end. It keeps going on and on. When you look at large enterprises, they have dedicated setups, they experiment, they have budgets, and they can do all of that stuff. But when you look at SMEs, it's difficult for them every time a new technology that comes in for them to invest and experiment and see whether it works for them. So what we've done is we have picked up all of this stuff, the entire omni-channel customer communication, and put it on our own cloud, Tata Tele Business Services Cloud, right? And we are saying, don't put any infrastructure. Even those voice phones, desk phones, completely out, not required. All of the infrastructure spends we do on our own. So we have a omni-channel offering called SmartFlow. Essentially, the meaning of SmartFlow is that businesses should flow without boundaries and without any impediments on technologies. Today it's voice, SMS, WhatsApp. Tomorrow it could be something else. And we build all those connectors. And as and when another new platform technology comes in, we keep building and adding onto it. So even if there are people, they hook up actually onto the SmartFlow cloud that we have. And it's a completely integrated, converged communication solution. From our SMB customers' perspective, they have one UI. From their customers' perspective, all the channels are open. They can reach out to the customer, obviously, from where they are taking services through any of these mediums. They can make a voice call, they can send an SMS, they could have a chat on a chat engine, they could send a WhatsApp message. All of this gets consolidated and put it on that one single UI, and they could respond. The second good aspect is zero capex.
Correct.
Right? You completely pay as you use. You can start with as low as 5 licenses, just 5 users, right? Very easy for people to even experiment whether it works for them or does not work. And you can keep growing. As you grow, you pay, and so on and so forth. So again, another example of saying we are not expecting SMEs to keep experimenting with new technologies. We do it for them. We make it easier, simpler to adopt technologies, experiment with it, see what works for them, and then grow along with it.
Interesting. So what you're really saying is leave all of the hard work to us.
That's right.
That's great. So before we sign off, I just want to ask you this. If you had to advise entrepreneurs on 5 things, okay?
Yeah.
What are the 5 things that they should look for in a technology partner? And I'm not now going to allow you to talk about Tata Tele Business Services, right? It could be any business partner that they look for. What are the 5 things that they must look out for?
I think it all starts with a, trusted advisor. Whether it's Tata Tele or anybody else for that matter, you need to have a trusted advisor who kind of converts your business vision or your digital mindset vision, digital transformation vision into real actions and helps you actually improve upon your productivity, your business performance, and your business transformation. So somebody who essentially understands your business well, has an experience and proven track record over right there, who's reliable, who's giving you cost-effective solution, happy to allow you to experiment and play with technologies, and clearly helping bringing all of this together. It's not a question of, like I said earlier, not a question of just buying technology, the framework part of the thing that I spoke about earlier. What out of this technology is relevant for your business and this stage of your business life cycle is extremely important. So somebody who understands your business well and accordingly brings all the tools and services together and has a proven track record of doing that. I think those are the things which are very, very important.
Great. That absolutely was fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm sure that our listeners had a fantastic journey on this conversation that I had. I mean, I truly enjoyed what you said. It was very, very educative. I think it also got me thinking about how one should look at businesses and look at technology in business. So thank you so much for your time, and it was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was real pleasure for me as well, and I hope listeners will find it useful. We are very, very excited in terms of talking to all the SME customers out there and see what we can do for them so that they benefit in terms of realizing their dreams and all of them do big in their respective businesses. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vishal. Pleasure. Thank you for tuning in to the Do Big podcast, a podcast that is dedicated to providing insights, strategies, and success stories of smart digital solutions for SMEs. We believe that behind every successful business, there's a strong foundation of reliable and secure technology, be it digital connectivity, cloud infra, cloud apps, collaboration tools, or cybersecurity solutions. In a rapidly evolving digital world where technology is key to progress, Tata Tele Business Services stands at the forefront of digital transformation of SMEs. Tata Tele Business Services, with their extensive experience and commitment to empowering businesses, understands the unique needs of SMEs. Tata Tele Business Services, with their extensive experience and commitment to empowering businesses, understands the unique needs of SMEs. Whether it's scalable connectivity, robust communication tools, or tailored ICT solutions, Tata Tele Business Services is here to propel your business forward. Tata Tele Business Services is synonymous with innovation, reliability, and transformative solutions. With a legacy spanning decades, Tata Tele Business Services has been empowering businesses and transforming lives across the nation. So, if you're ready to take your organization to new heights of success, We encourage you to explore the transformative possibilities that Tata Tele Business Services has to offer. Our contact details are in the description below. Remember, we're available on major podcast platforms. So if you enjoyed today's conversation, subscribe to our podcast for future episodes, which we promise will be packed with equally valuable insights on questions entrepreneurs face as they digitize and scale businesses with the help of technology. Don't forget to rate and review our podcast, as well as share it with peers, colleagues, and other entrepreneurs like yourself who will benefit from listening to it. Thank you for listening to us. And until the next time, keep embracing technology and may your business thrive in the digital era.